Welcome to Guarantee News. I'm your host, Garrett. As usual, if you're watching the entire video for a minute, for a second, thank you. You could be watching anything in the world and you're watching Guarantee News, and I appreciate that. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at GSTEWDIOS and watch a couple videos on here. And then before I was starting this video, I was just looking at the views, and I know it's bad to say I haven't been looking at analytics. You could realize that from what I'm about to say. I get that. That's bad. That'll change, of course. But I was looking at the views on the video before I started, and I saw the Pope video only got 7 views, and that was kind of interesting to me because I brought up in that video, like, I was surprised people cared about the Pope or anything like that. And I did a whole thing. That was one of the points of the video. But then it's like looking like people didn't care, and I was like, maybe my original thinking was right. That's just interesting. It just made me think, the Pope video, and it made me think back to that question, why do people care? I don't know. It was interesting to me. But yeah, thank you for watching, all that good stuff. You know, you have to do the marketing. And also, tell me what you think on this video before, in the comments after you watch. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Where do you kind of agree? Where you're in the middle, etc., etc. This is going to be a review video of Captain America: Brave New World. So it's not news. I know this is Guarantee News, and I know I mostly cover news, and Guarantee News is Guarantee News. I'll always cover news, but I feel like I want to talk about, I want to give a review of this movie, right? And I want to give a review because as the next year, as Marvel starts dropping more Avengers movies, I want to have it on record what I'm thinking about to these lead up movies, where I'm right and wrong, for better or for worse, when Avengers comes out. And I'll get to that a little later in this video when the next Avengers come out. But all right, review Captain America: Brave New World. Now, I know this review is late because it came out in theaters a while ago. I just watched it because it came out on Disney Plus, like on the 28th, like 2 days ago. 2 or 3 days ago. And now with really our movies, but mostly Marvel movies, I have a decision I make where, is this a see in theater movie or is this a wait till streaming service movie? And I only make that decision based off, do I think that this movie will be different? Watching this movie, the quality of the movie, how things look will be drastically changed or different by not seeing it in theaters and just watching it on the TV. And I made the decision to make this a streaming service watch. And to give a quick example, like a quick whatchamacallit, Sinners for me was a have to watch in theaters. IMAX camera shots, original film. It was one of those things where when it comes out inevitably on streaming service, probably HBO Max, I'll be watching it, but like I had to see it in theaters, and I was glad I did. And I was glad I waited to streaming services for this movie too. Like a lot of times I go see movies, and I'm going to start to ramble, so I'm going to stop. A lot of times when it's a theater movie, it's like good enough to where I think I'm going to watch it twice, because I really like to watch movies like the first time, and then it's just that first watch, how do you feel, all that stuff, and then the second time you're analyzing, looking at things more, it's a different watch. In this movie, yeah, definitely a streaming service wait, and that's how I'll start with this. But my personal synopsis of this is basically about the president. Let me get to the cast. Harrison Ford is the actor, and his name is Thaddeus Ross in the movie. He was in, I think, is it Harrison Ford in the original Hulk? Let me look that up. I'm going to look that up. Original Hulk movie cast. Oh, I think he's going to pull up a million movies. Who's Thaddeus Ross? Okay, no, it wasn't the same, and I thought that. All right. So basically, this guy, Thaddeus Ross, he's been in the original Hulk movie, if you remember it. He becomes the president of the United States, and basically a past op that he did wrong is trying to get back at him. And because of that, the past op tries to start a war, makes Thaddeus Ross, the new president, makes him go crazy, doing all these things because the president did him wrong, and he's trying to get back at the president, and he's doing that by fucking up his presidency and starting a war, right? That's basically the synopsis. And Captain America, the new Captain America, Sam Wilson, basically has to stop this guy because he has to make his friend, and what's his name? Let me find him. Carl Lumbly, Isaiah Bradley. His name was Isaiah in the movie. His friend basically is set up, and Sam, Captain America, has to stop this guy to prove that his friend is innocent, basically, right? If I'm going to get into it a little bit quickly. Basically, the villain, this guy, wants to get this guy, the president, wants to get him through there. It's his op. He did him wrong. Watch the movie. And he does this by mind controlling people. One of those people being this guy who is friends with Captain America, and he's like also a super soldier, has a whole story. Oh, you guys can't even see. Let me move my. This guy. This is Isaiah, the guy I was talking about. He has to basically, yeah, he's put in jail. He tries to kill the president because he's getting mind controlled by the villain, right? And yeah, he's trying to prove his friend innocent, and to do that, he has to stop the bad guy, right? That's basically the movie, and all these things happening. Oh, he's pulling the strings of this brainiac, and the president is doing all these things, right? And it's basically a little bit of the past coming back to haunt you, how you look towards the future, all those things. Those are some themes, right? Now, that's my quick little synopsis. I'll also say, of the 4 Captain America movies, let's see. Well, yeah, I can just say them off the top of my head. Of the 4 Captain America movies, it's the third best. It's only better than the first one. And I think if you want to say that it's the worst and the first one is better, I'll give that to you. And then Civil War is better than that. And Civil War and The Winter Soldier, which in my opinion is the best Captain America movie. So it's the third of the Captain America movies, right? Now, and let me see before I go on. There's something else that I want to make sure I'm getting in here. Okay, all right, let's move on. So it's the third of the Captain America movies. I have to say that. Now, first off, now I'm going to get into my analysis of the movie, right? And where are we at? 6 minutes? I think we're making good time. So I'm going to start off with the Red Hulk. I think it would have been better. It would have been better if in the marketing that they didn't show the Red Hulk, or if they were going to do the Red Hulk, show the Red Hulk, it should have been more throughout the movie. Because throughout the whole movie, you're really waiting on just that pin to drop. And when you see the Red Hulk, it's kind of like a little bit of a letdown. And then the president, Harrison Ford, Thaddeus Ross, his character was mad questionable. Like, he used to he was getting angry for reasons that you would think as a president, like, he'd be more calm. Like, he was easily controllable, like, to the point where I don't even think you'd have to be a super genius to control him, which I think that just gets into, like, kind of just like the villain being bad, some of the reasoning behind these things just being really weak. That being said, and we'll get into this later with some of the reviews I'm going to read from other people, it is possible that you could have a president that is easily triggered and kind of like emotional in the sense that they get angry quickly and operate on their emotions. That is true. I can't say that's unrealistic, but in the movie I didn't like seeing it, and it was almost too easy to get this guy riled up, right? Now, the fighting. All right, we're going to move on. The fighting. Okay. The final fight with the Hulk was all right. It wasn't awful. Like, the scenes where you're seeing, like, the Hulk, like, he's like jumping over, you see him do the Hulk clap. Like, there's some interesting use of the power, right? But him beating the Hulk was really questionable. And he had to talk him down to beat him. Like, he had to it was just a questionable ass dub for him. And he had a lot of questionable ass dubs as Captain America in this movie, and I'll say that. And again, out of the fighting of all the Captain America movies, it is the worst. Captain America is known for being a movie that is great with hand-to-hand combat, great with just bopping, and to me, it didn't feel like a Captain America movie just off the fighting alone. Like we talked about, I just went into the Hulk fight a little bit, how I didn't like that he talked him down to win, and it just wasn't like questionable win, right? Then, like, the first scene of the or the first big fight of the movie, in the first scene, like, almost every Captain America movie starts with a little scene, like a little fight scene, and usually they're good. This scene, the first one in this movie, wasn't good. It was basically like he fought this guy, Johannes Okur. Let me make sure you guys can see. He fought this guy who is basically a leader of some secret agency that was led by Giancarlo Esposito, who was Seth Volker in the movie. Who cares about his name? But if you know Giancarlo, you know Giancarlo. But he was basically working for this guy, and Captain America and him got into a fight, and he even got like a questionable dub in this one, like where it just felt like he gets a lot of like, he gets a lot of main character I can't lose wins, not wins where he's really like fighting them. And that's the thing. Chris Evans, Captain America, used to really beat the brakes off of boys. Like the hand-to-hand combat, it used to really be it used to be like you were seeing like a I don't want to say John Wick or like one of those movies, but it was great hand-to-hand combat, right? And like something about that scene, the first scene where he's fighting that guy, like he took his glasses off. They both took his glasses off before they started fighting. It like gave me the vibe of like when you like load your fist up, or specifically in the Captain America movie where I think it was Winter Soldier, where like the first scene he's fighting like Batrock or the guy that like does the jumps, and Chris Evans has a shield, and like the villain is like, you need your shield to beat me, and he throws the shield away from him and just beats him with the hands, like even getting like, I can picture it. It's exciting. It's a movie I go back to often, and this like felt like they were trying to like take the glasses off to like make it, I like, and then they were like talking. He was like the villain, like not the villain or the guy he's fighting was like, oh, why you're not the Captain America I wanted to fight. You're easy to break. And he's like, not that. It wasn't a good fight. It wasn't a good fight. I didn't like it. That fight, I didn't like at all. And mainly because I saw that, I feel like connection that I thought maybe they're trying to make of like another cat. It just wasn't good. And then the Hulk fight was all right because I like seeing the Hulk's powers, but it was still, it was still mid. It was still mid. The fighting was a big letdown of the movie. The fighting was a big letdown of the movie. Now, one of the things about the movie that I was surprised with was how they handled having a black Captain America, which was something for me as a Marvel fan. I was like questioning, because I was like, at first when I was seeing everything with the movie and just even back with the show with him being the new Captain America, when it was made that he'd be Captain America, I was kind of like, I didn't like it because I was just thinking like, oh, it's America. I was looking at like, I think a bird's eye view of like, oh, America, like the hate he would get as a black Captain America, what America is, and you just think white people. But then as I was watching the movie, and I was wrong about that, specifically with this movie, because then I was watching it, I liked the way they address it. And as I looked at it and started looking at it in a different lens, I was like, but if you look at like in America, it like a view of in America, it's like, I mean, you would think someone that is non-white, you would think maybe a little bit more diversity. And the way that they did it, I think personally, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And now I do like him as Captain America more all around. And I do like the fact they chose a black Captain America. And I mention this because I think Marvel lately, after Endgame, has been pander nation, right? Where they just pander all the time. I think they cast people and do things that that could hurt the movie. Sometimes I think people are just being extremely racist and it's fucked up. But then sometimes I think there's a level of pandering, right, that just becomes like not cool and not fun to watch. And it's just like, you don't got to do this for me to watch the movie. But sometimes it's writing and doing stuff that is right. And, you know, there's the fair middle. I think with Guaranteed News, you can tell I always am trying to find that fair middle. I think the black Captain America is great. I don't think that's a pandering cast. I don't think that's a thing to get mad over. And I will say I was wrong about that in my initial thinkings. I like him as Captain America, and I like a black Captain America, right? I like the way they're doing it. Now, kind of just going over the movie as a whole, I'm going to go to my letters. At first, I gave it 3 stars, but then I was looking at how I was rating other movies and thinking it's a 2 out of 5 stars. It's a 2 out of 5 star movie for sure, right? And when I compare it to Marvel movies after Endgame, it's one of the better ones, right? Let me pull this. I asked ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like my assistant. We're at 13 minutes. I'm going to try to finish this in like 5 minutes, right? 5-minute clock. Let me put a 5-minute timer on, because we're getting past what I wanted to get to. We're getting longer in this than I wanted to. 5-minute clock. So comparing it to the movies after Endgame, let me find this list because it's not awful. Okay. Let's go back to the notes. It's one of the better ones, right? I liked it, but it's not something that I'll go back to and watch. And I will say though, it's a mid movie, but a mid movie for Marvel now is dang near a good movie. Like, I like it better than Black Widow. Don't like it better than Shang-Chi. I'm just gonna go through movies really quickly. Like, let me see if I can take this away. Do I want to close sidebar? Okay, we'll just show the little what ChatGPT answered me, right? So this is Phase 4. Not better than Black Widow. Not better than Shang-Chi. Better than Eternals. Spider-Man No Way Home, it can go however you want. With Spider-Man No Way Home, a lot of people can say it's a great movie when you don't have like a hating ass nigga in your ear saying it's not good. I'm saying that it's fanfare, and I'm that person because I do think it's fanfare. It's not as good as I thought it would be, but I could see how you could say this is way better than Brave New World, and I would say objectively it is, but it's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, not better than that. Not better than that. Thor: Love and Thunder, better than that. Black Panther, up in the air. Ant-Man, better than. Guardians of the Galaxy, up in the air. The Marvels, didn't see it, won't see it. So, Deadpool and Wolverine, not better. Thunderbolts, didn't see it. So, it's like mid. It's in the middle. Or it's pretty good. It's on the upper end of Marvel Phase 4. So, I'll say that. Now, moving on through that. So yeah, mid for Marvel movies. You guys got the vibe of what I was trying to say there. Now with this movie, I will say I want to go through Letterboxd. It was kind of harsh there. I gave it a 2 stars. What did it get on? What did it get? It has a 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. Okay, okay. And then I'm gonna go through like this. I'm gonna read this. Letterboxd was harsh. Is my point with what I'm doing right now. We see this. A pretty embarrassing low point, even by Marvel's increasingly slapdash standards. The Arrowverse shows on the CW from a decade ago look more polished than this. I don't agree with that. That's harsh. Much of the CGI here, and there's a lot of it, looks straight up unfinished. I couldn't see the CGI. He's going to talk about choppy editing. I couldn't see that either. Maybe that could be a thing of like, I'm not as knowledgeable of movies as I thought, because I didn't get that sense that the CGI was awful and that the editing was awful. It looks straight up unfinished. None of the actors involved seem to know where they are, what they're doing. I didn't agree with that either. This is you know what? This is like not a deep dive. I could give a 45 deep dive on this movie. If this episode gets, I'm going to say likes. If this episode, because I don't usually get a lot of likes. If this episode gets 10 likes, I'll do a deep dive of characters and everything with this. But I didn't think the actors didn't seem involved. Camera work and editing so choppy, it gave me a headache the halfway point. Didn't get that feeling. Very evidently rewritten and reshot to death. I could see that. Weirdly winds up feeling more like the Incredible Hulk 2 than Captain America 4. I can see that as well, but I don't agree with that. I think they take a lot of time into like these are the things where I could get into this more. Respect to this guy because I think I like his reviews, but I could go into this for 45 minutes on the Letterbox. But I'm also sympathetic to the MCU stands treating Thunderbolts like The Godfather, considering that this was the last taste left in their mouths. Extra half star for casting a terrible actress as an absolute nothing characters. And I ought to check the Israel box. Going back to Cass, he's talking about her. Again, like if this gets, what did I say, 5? I'm going to say 10. If this gets 10 likes, I can go into it. The Israel thing, not going to go into, but I was like, she's from the Red Room of Israel. I was like, okay, I don't know about that. But this, I liked her. I liked the character. I liked her. I could get into it more. But we'll keep moving on. Unrelated, and this is Decay Parents errors, but I never saw Chris Evans do any. Yeah, this was okay. This is funny. The most unrealistic part of this movie is that the president actually went to prison for his crimes. Would love to know how the Red Hulk plans for combating inflation. This is funny because obviously some of the things were Donald Trump. But let's see. Let's invent a new element and way to set Avengers. But unfortunately, it gets lost. I mean, this was just really hard, and I think the thing overall, I think it's, and I'm not gonna go through the review or go through the Letterbox reviews as much as I was before. And follow me on Letterbox G63 reviews if you want to see my reviews or see where I think of things. But it was more harsh than I believe it should have been on Letterboxd. No after credit scene. We're moving on from Letterbox. No after credit scene. And connection to no after credit scene, no connection to movies that I can think of outside of making a new Avengers, which I think like the president's like, oh, start their Avengers again, which is I guess leading to they're gonna start their Avengers again, of course, and then Thunderbolts are the new Avengers. It's a weak connection, not a good connection. Again, I came from growing up with the original Marvel and how they used to connect things, which was chef's kiss. So I'm gonna always be harder on these, I think. So no connection. Which and no after credit scene, which are things I like. All right, we're done with the 5 minutes. But altogether, I like him as Captain America. I think he is a Captain America, a quality Captain America, and I like him better in this movie than I did in the show, right? But the fighting was mid. The Red Hulk with the marketing. I know with marketing today, it's so hard to try to, and I'm recapping now. If you can't see what I'm doing. But I know with marketing, it's hard to keep things close. But the marketing was set on it being Red Hulk. Even just seeing this on the poster and seeing it here and seeing it there, you can just see the marketing. And you see him for a little bit of time in a fight that's kind of mid. Fighting mid. The idea of it, I think it kind of went into one of these reviews. I can see the bones and the skeleton of this being a lot better of a movie than it was. And because of that, I can respect it. But I probably won't watch this movie again. That's my review. We will be continuing to give these Marvel reviews, and I may do a video of like, stay in the comments. Someone, can I get some comments? Thank you to the people watching. I do appreciate you guys extremely. Don't think I don't. But I'm trying to decide like, do I want to do like a video specifically of like Marvel right now and like where I think it's going, maybe or maybe not. But thank you for watching this video. Watch more Guaranteed News. Subscribe. News will be here consistently. I think the weekends we're going to start getting more into just less newsy things and more fun things. Reaction videos, streaming. I got to look up, can you play poker? Can I stream like free Facebook poker? I don't know. But yeah, those are weekends and just like during the week more newsy stuff. But yeah, all that to come. Thank you for watching Guarantee News. Peace.